Camp Liberty, with one main and 4 secondary police stations and numerous monitoring cameras. A highly controlled prison. Liberty not meeting minimum humanitarian and human rights standards. Buses transporting the first 397 Camp Ashraf residents reached Camp Liberty on Saturday, February 18th at 7 a.m. Baghdad time. Reports from Camp Liberty indicate that the infrastructure, contrary to UNAMI's initial descriptions, is significantly below acceptable standards. UNAMI's statement on January 31st stated, "The infrastructure and facilities at Camp Liberty are in accordance with the international humanitarian standards stipulated in the MOU." A technical report by a shelter expert dated January 30th, which served as basis for the UNAMI statement, confirmed that the camp is currently configured to accommodate 5,500 persons. The UNAMI statement pretended the UNHCR had approved the situation of Camp Liberty, but the latter was explicit in its February 1st statement that the new location was being provisioned and the UNHCR has been advising on the technicalities of improving the camp infrastructure. After the arrival of 397 Ashraf residents at Liberty, it is crystal clear that the shelter experts' report has been totally unrealistic and conditions are far below humanitarian standards. The trailers and toilet facilities were so dirty and unusable that the residents were obliged to stay in their buses during the night. There is serious water shortages and electricity is cut off after 10:30 p.m., as in prisons. Apart from the unacceptable facilities and infrastructure, there is a lack of minimum humanitarian needs, including no freedom of movement, no access to lawyers and journalists, or freedom of entrance of visitors. Moreover, the presence of armed Iraqi forces, the way the residents were transferred to Camp Liberty, and being prohibited from taking along many of their personal belongings are obvious violations of the MOU signed between the UN and the Iraqi government, and the February 15th letter of the Special Representative of the Secretary General to Ashraf residents on relocation arrangements. The presence of police forces inside the camp is to such an extent that the residents' private lives is under constant surveillance and control, and practically no privacy has been recognized for the residents. There is a police headquarters with many armed forces adjacent to Section 1 of Camp Liberty, the place of inhabitants for the first 397 residents. Powerful cameras are installed at various locations of the camp to control all activities. For example, there are 7 cameras in just the western flank of Camp Liberty's Section 1 area. Despite the heavy presence of police and the above-mentioned cameras, on Sunday a police patrol insisted on entering the residents' resting area, to which the residents strongly protested. Regrettably, despite all promises, Ashraf residents who trusted UNAMI are now faced with the prison-like camp they had been warning about all along.